That's gonna be your thing. I deem that unworthy.
Hey, get that hair. It is from my mustache.
You know how to make that so that doesn't happen?
Yeah, how? You know a trick?
You just shave off that fucking mustache.
I don't know that. You've been wanting to say that every episode. We haven't even started drinking yet today.
There we go.
Yes, Andy, Vargo, and I will do anything for attention.
Yes, we will.
Good morning, sunshine. How are you?
Well, any morning that I wake up to seeing you straight out of bed is a good morning. How are you?
We're good. We're rocking the bedhead today. And I was thinking about all of the people that watch us, our fans and friends. And I wanted to make sure that they get the full Cheri and Andy experience. Like and subscribe and follow us so they don't miss anything.
Yeah, and you know what else would be so super awesome for us and for your other friends out there? Be if people would share it so that everyone else has the chance to experience this in all its glory and that, or whichever side you're on. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Scrutiny with Cheri and Andy. I'm Andy Vargo, and this is my bestie,
Cheri Hardman.
I never know which way to point, and I don't know if it's even the same on each camera. And we are here to talk about all things life, relationship, whatever, with our own twist of scrutiny. So Cheri, let's kick it off. How are you today?
I am fantastic today.
Excellent.
I'm a little concerned that I didn't take a nap earlier. That might be a problem later on, but right now I feel great. So
But now you're riding the high. I love it.
mm-hmm. How are you?
I am good. I'm holding up. Today is just an insane day for me. I have 4 events on top of the regular workload, and so I still got out and got some stuff done at the coffee shop this morning, and then I just finished up speaking to some middle schoolers, so that was a blast. So, and then of course,
yeah, the middle schoolers are so charming. Are they okay?
I'm okay. I am now dubbed apparently Mr. Mustache Man.
Oh.
The things that got them really excited were the mustache and then hearing that I have a podcast. I didn't tell them about this one.
Mm-hmm.
But I talked about Own Your Awkward. And so, and I'll get into that in a little bit. And then tonight, I'm just going to go right into what I have coming up, because tonight, Weirdly Funny at Nate Jackson's Super Funny Comedy Club, that is an all LGBTQ focused set of comedians that are going to be on stage. It's going to be an awesome lineup. It's going to be a nice full house. So look forward to seeing everybody there. The show starts at 7:30. It's not too late to grab a ticket online or just show up and get a ticket at the door.
Oh, good, because I was wondering what time it started. Now I know.
Yes.
I will definitely be there. I want to watch and support, and it's a great lineup. It's going to be freaking hilarious.
Yeah, I'm so excited about it. Now you have me concerned. I'm sure it's 7:30, but it's like, you get a thing in your head and you're like, wait, did
I've found I have to just check every time I go somewhere because I'm wrong a lot lately.
Oops, I clicked on reels, not events. Why are they both red? Yeah, at 7:30. Yeah, because like when you're on the show, you just know you have to be there like an hour early. I shoot for an hour early. Mm-hmm. I'll probably be there, 50 minutes, 45 minutes early to this one because I have a obligation that backs up against it at work. And so, but then you kind of forget when the show time is, because you're like, well, I just know I need to be there by 6 or 6:30. And
mm-hmm.
if I shoot for an hour early and it starts a half an hour sooner than I thought, then I'm still early, but
Right.
7:30 at Nate Jackson's Super Funny Comedy Club. Tomorrow night, I'm doing a book signing down at Odd Otter, so I'll be signing copies of my books. Feel free to stop by. They named a beer after me, Andy's Awkward Amber, so we're celebrating that. So,
That is really cool.
yeah, that's an honor.
So is this the first time that you get to like that? Have they people been able to drink that beer before tomorrow? Or
Yeah, it came out this last Thursday, so it's been on tap for about a week, and so of course I had to go down last week and drink it during karaoke, and last night I had to stop in there and fix some stuff, so I had to have one, and it's a very good beer. Amber is one of my favorite go-to styles of beer, so that was good.
that is cool.
And then Saturday and Sundays, I'm at the Tacoma Night Market. And on Saturday, it's a night market down at the Seaport Waterway Museum on Theophos Waterway. And Sunday morning, there's a brunch show that's going on, and I'll be there for the brunch market. So
Wow.
it's a whirlwind of things going on the next few days, but no excuse to not see my peeps here in Tacoma. So stop on by for any or all of those events.
Cool.
I'm excited. It's
A
gonna be fun.
busy guy.
Yeah, it just kind of worked out that it was all this week. And when we get to what we're chatting about, I want to find out what you have coming up, but I'll share what I was doing today and what that's all about. So what do you have coming up? You've got a busy calendar too.
Yeah, tomorrow night I'm at the Northwest Film Forum doing another installment of the Disabled List.
Fun.
It's always a fun show. And Saturday night, I'll be in Auburn at the A Street Pub, closing out their open mic show. Sunday, I will be in Spokane for Live Rude Girls.
Okay.
Driving over for a little one-off there in Spokane. And then I'm just going to go into two other things. Wednesday, the 4th, I will be opening for, I think the guy's name is Ben Warren at Tacoma Comedy Club.
Oh, fun.
And then Sunday night, the 8th, Mother's Day, is Dirty Jokes with Cheri Hardman at Nate Jackson Super Funny Comedy Club. So lots of good stuff coming up. I just want people to know they can always go to my website and get tickets, even if it's from somebody else's website. I always link over to where they can pay for tickets. So
and
if
what
you get where I am or you want to see where I am, go to CheriHardman.com.
CheriHardman.com. Excellent. And you have, I have to say, I was on your website the other day and scrolling through all the shows you have coming up, and it's exciting. You have a lot on the docket. It's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty full right now. I like that. I like it, but hey, I've got a couple weeks there in the middle of May that, oh no, I don't, because I have the festival.
See?
I didn't write it on my calendar yet. I put it on my online calendar.
Right.
I still do old school, like paper calendar. I just, something about writing it helps me to remember things.
I do that for my to-do list every day, and I go ahead several days. So usually I have about a week's worth of stuff. If I write it on that more as a list than a calendar entry. But if it's on my electronic calendar, I put it in there. But then I have to put things on my electronic calendar because clients can schedule based on when there's openings. And so if I don't put it, like even if I'm meeting you to hang out for happy hour, or if I'm going on a hike with somebody or having dinner with my kids, I have to put it in my calendar so that it blocks that time out. Otherwise, all of a sudden it's like, oh crap, this is awkward. I've got to reschedule one or the other.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. But I do, since we're talking, I'm just gonna look. I'm like, should I wait and save this for later? But I'm thinking about it right now. So Seattle's doing on Capitol Hill, they're doing it's a first annual upper left comedy festivals. First one, and I'm privileged enough to be able to do that. They're going to have shows at the Northwest Film Forum and Club Comedy. And my dog is barking, but we'll just ignore him. But I wanted to talk about a little bit about festivals because it really has to do with the whole subject of believing in yourself and confidence and positive thinking.
Okay, I'd love to hear this.
All right.
How do you feel about it?
We touched on it a little bit yesterday because I applied to so many festivals and just get rejection. Now, I have been in some festivals. I've been in Burbank and Wine Country and Hilarious, and the Vegas Burlesque Festival. So, I mean, I got into some festivals, but like the big ones that have like a lot of industry there and stuff, I've tried several years in a row and just could never get in and felt really like, why am I doing this to myself? Like just bringing rejection on, you know? And then I said I wasn't gonna apply for any more.
I remember hearing that a few times.
But then I got a good video.
Ah.
And I thought, well, why don't I try with a better video that's like actually good quality, and actually got into one right away. I got into the Limestone Comedy Festival, but I had a booking, and so I turned it down. The booking fell through, and so now I was really disappointed. But then the Upper Left came along, and I got into that. But so that's like two out of two right now I'm at, right? That I made it into. And so now I feel like that whole feeling of heaviness and about festivals is like, I just feel much better about it now. And so much of it was that I got a little confidence from getting into a couple of them.
Right.
And then it's just like now I'm up for one that's supposed to be letting us know in the next bit here. I don't know. And I'm just like so sure that I'm going to get in that I'm planning for it already, you know.
Well,
so
you have to go into it with that confidence. Otherwise,
why bother, first of all?
Yeah, and people can sense that. If you feel like you're not going to get in and they sense that, then it's like, well, they don't feel worthy of being here, so why book them if they're in a stretch? So,
but I don't know, I just felt like it was like a little just a little mini lesson for me to remember.
Yeah, well, and I think that's a good thing is that, you know, these wins that we have give us confidence, but they don't always give us as much confidence as the losses take away. So it's hard to balance that. And I think that's one thing why it's important to keep that in mind, but also to celebrate as many small wins as we can, and to put ourselves in situations where we're always going after those wins, because the more of those small ones we build up, it's going to give us the confidence to take the bigger risk for the bigger things.
Right.
So
I know that I'm like, well, what if I in the next couple of days I don't get into that one? I'll be like, okay, I'll still be 2 positives to 1 negative. I think I can live through that, you know. So
well, and when you have more going on, it becomes less of a everything that I was trying to do was riding on this one thing.
That's true.
Like I had a rejection experience today, where I had quoted a school gig yesterday, and it was through one of these services where, you know, you have a profile and people can see it. And I quoted, and it's funny because I had just decided I'm raising some of my rates for speaking now that I've had more experience and I have more going on. And I thought, well, going forward, I'm gonna be at this level and not this level anymore. But I still quoted this one because it was a school, and I, you know, don't know about their finances. I still quoted them at my lower rate. And it wasn't out of the ballpark or anything, but then I called the lady today, and I'm like, I'm gonna follow up, and I left her a voicemail, just, hey, just introducing myself, you know, making sure you got what you need, and if you have any questions. And it was really vague in what they were looking for, because they quoted a 3-hour window. They said, oh, we can be flexible on time. And so I had said, you know,
right,
make sure that my quote's appropriate, since you sounded like, you know, you had some wiggle room in there. And then I just got a message from her that said, we've decided, you know, we found who we want to go with. And I'm like, I was like kind of mad, because I'm just like, well, you didn't even talk to me. We didn't even have a conversation. We didn't even have a chance to even find out what we could do.
All right.
But at the same time, one thing I've really practiced doing is not fighting for people to like me. Like if you don't see it as a fit or you don't see it, whatever. And the more wins that I've had, because I have other stuff going on right now, that, a couple years ago, I would have been devastated. Like, oh my gosh, that was my one quote that I had out there, or my one potential thing on the table. And yes, I was excited to do it because it was kind of in the realm of an area that I used to work. But at the same time, like, if it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. And, so I just replied and said, I hope you have an amazing event. Thanks for letting me know, but, and also I think one thing we need to remember is that we learn a lot more from people when they don't get what they want than when they do, and how they handle rejection really can speak volumes to the kind of people you could be working with and things. And if someone tells you no and you handle it well, they might remember that and call you the next time around, or if something falls through, even though you might not have first choice. And so if you don't handle it well, then it's always going to be a rejection versus, oh, you know what, this person's mature and can handle being told no, or no thank you, or not right now, let's have them over next time.
I know, I was thinking about, this is kind of in the same, I was thinking about this today because kids were supposed to be finishing their online testing that we do twice a year.
Oh yeah.
But every time I looked over at these couple kids, they were watching videos instead of doing their test. And every time I would say something to them, there would be just this big argument and excuse after, I'm multitasking and blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking, my first thought, of course, was, I would have never talked to an adult like that when I was in high school. I just would not have done it at all. But it's like, and I know that they're just kids supposedly, but that's really a good indicator of how mature somebody is, period, is whether they can accept a correction or a complaint or a whatever compared to someone who can't.
Right.
Just that gracefully accepting and taking responsibility for when you're doing the wrong thing, so I don't know, just thought of that today.
And it's true. And it's, how often does that carry through, whether it's in the classroom, in business, or in
relationships,
where you're just like, how often do you see friends not take things well and think, okay, this is a good sign of why I'm not dating that person.
Right.
We can be friends, or we can get along in this area. People that even people that you might be interested in dating, and then you see them not handle a situation while you're like, oh, dodge that bullet.
Yeah, for sure. Ow, I just bit my own tongue.
Oh no, I hate when I do that.
I know.
The problem too is once you do that, it's like,
oh yeah, then you're gonna keep doing it. But usually, how you bite it over here. I just bit it right.
Oh, yeah.
Right in the middle of my mouth, like my tongue's getting too fat for my mouth.
Sometimes I wonder if I ate something that I reacted to that made my cheeks swell or something.
The doctor will fix it though.
Oh, nice. Doctor's in. I haven't had Dr. Pepper in a long time. It's delicious.
Yeah, I hadn't either, and I was shopping online, so I saw it, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll get that.
I don't drink a lot of soda, but unless it's mixed with alcohol. I use it for mixer every once in a while.
Where in the hell are you from that you call it soda?
I'm from Tacoma.
We call it pop in Tacoma.
Excuse me. I like to call it soda pop.
Okay.
So, unless you had more to say, I was going to tell you about my little excursion.
Yeah, go.
So today I worked with middle schoolers, and that was my first time. I've spoken at high schools before, but never middle schoolers. And it was interesting because it was more workshop style. So this was a couple of challenges for me, because I'm doing a workshop with students that are, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, in a way where you're in a classroom that's conversational. So you want there to be interaction, but also still have to maintain controlling the room. And so that was interesting. I mean, they were good. But there were just a couple moments where I was like, oh, I opened this up or I opened that up. And then the things that they get excited to talk about are, I mentioned that I had a podcast and they're like, oh my gosh, where's your podcast? What's it about? And then you have a podcast. Is it on this? Is it on that? And I'm like, oh God. And then the other thing is that I'm officially now Mr. Mustache Man, apparently. They had all sorts of questions about that.
Really?
But it's interesting because this was where I went to grade school. And so kind of in a giving back, I'm there hanging out, and we're going to do conversations about change for the next 6 weeks. And so today we talked about accepting change and about kind of defining change and what kind of changes are they facing.
Right.
And it's hard because as a kid, I asked him, I said, how many of you have ever had an adult tell you that you need to get over something? It's not that big of a deal. And I want to say almost every kid in the room, if not all of them, raised their hands. And maybe the few that didn't raise their hands were probably too shy to raise their hands. And I was saying, the thing is, and I was trying to say this for themselves too, and how they approach people, is that people with different experiences than us we might have something happen that's really easy to go through for them because they've experienced it. Like if one of us gets a festival rejection or something else, like whatever it is, it's like, oh, right. I've had a million rejections, you'll get over it, no big deal. Well, if it's your first one, or it was the one that you really wanted to get into, it doesn't feel that great. And if it's the biggest thing you've ever faced in your life, it's not going to be easy to get over, even though you still will face bigger things later. For now, right. This is a lesson you need to have. And I don't know, it was interesting. It was a good challenge for me. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to going back next week. I did kind of end it with that, was this helpful for you guys? Are do you want me to come back in a week, and are you going to shut up when I'm talking? I didn't say they were good overall. There's always a class.
Right. Right.
And so it was fun, and it's a lot of lessons for me, because if I want to work more with youth or people at any stage, my whole thing is I need to learn about how they're approaching change and what they're facing. And when I talk to anybody, I'm always surprised what they come up with as their thing, where it's like,
what were kids talking about that?
Oh, like some of the obvious ones: changing schools, losing friends, having to make new friends. But loss of family, or parents breaking up, or loss of a pet, things that are close and life changing. But some of those weren't on my radar. I didn't think about death necessarily as something that would come up, but it just depends on what. New sibling, things like that. And some of them when I was brainstorming what might be discussed, I was kind of preparing myself. But,
right.
But my whole point with them was, we're going to face change forever, but we don't teach ourselves how to cope with and master change. And so if we don't learn the tools, like I gave them homework, I'm like, I'm giving you this homework. Here's this worksheet. I was going to grab it, but it's too far away. It was one of those where I'm like, hey, I don't care if you do it. Like it's no skin off my back if you don't do it. But and it's not for you to go home and do this week. Like it's a tool for you to use when you need it. And that might be a year from now, or it might be this week, or it might be 3 months from now. But and I think it's hard to realize that with a lot of homework. Like you're the one who has to deal with the consequences if you don't use it or do it. So or not, it doesn't change my life if you don't use it. I'd like to help you, and that would make me feel good if you do get a use out of it. However, I still have the same responsibilities and the same benefits whether or not you do that thing. So if you want to change your life, you have to do it. So
you get paid whether they do it or not, right?
Right. Well, and it was kind of neat because I went through stuff, and it's cool because there's ways that kids cope. And so even when I didn't feel like they were listening at certain points, or where I was like, oh God, am I getting bored? Am I being the boring one? Then I was like, does this make sense? Do you guys have questions? And they're all nodding their head. They're like, oh yeah, this is cool. I'm like, okay, well that's good. I'm glad, because I don't, you know, I don't want you to feel like I'm wasting your time. I don't want to be that guy where they're like, remember when this dude came to the school and they had to sit through it for like, you know, an hour a week? You're just like, and he talked like this the whole
So
time.
did you know that you were coming back, that this was a repeating thing?
Yes. Yeah, that was the
I
plan.
didn't know that.
I said that. But yeah, so we had planned to do it for a 6-week, and I broke out. What I did is I took the segments that I have in my book with the different worksheets and stuff, and I kind of filtered that down into which ones were appropriate for middle school age. So this week we talked about accepting change and defining change. Next week we'll talk about the emotions of change. The week after that we'll get into kind of what your resources are and what's out there. But one thing I need to remember too is that when you're having just kind of conversations with a group like that, especially at that age, that there's a couple times where the conversation can go any direction, and if that's what's on their mind and that's where we need to explore, then that's where we need to go explore, because that's everybody's going to get the most out of it, as long as you know, so far off the path, or you know,
right,
I'm talking about my mustache for the whole time, you know, it's like, okay, well, let's get this out of our system,
right.
we'll come back to this. So anyway, so it's cool.
Well, good. I'm glad it went well.
Thank
I thought of you right when it was starting, and I just like said a little prayer for you.
Yeah, I needed it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Only for my, you know, no, it was great. It was fun. So that's my day. And it's just weird because and I didn't want to miss Scrutiny because we didn't do it last week, and you know, so it's just like today ended up being really busy. But sometimes that's when I actually thrive better, is if I have more, it forces me to be efficient between things. Like, oh, I have to get this done by 1:30 because then I have to go here. And so it makes me just go in that, okay, you got to get boom, 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 get these things done. And so I do appreciate that. And I know that about myself. And I know that when I don't have things that I have to do, then that's when I do, you know, the more time I have, the less efficient I am and the less productive, which is ironic.
Yeah, no, a lot of it's like those of us that are kind of procrastinators kind of do well with a tight schedule.
Yeah. And I have practiced like changing my mindset to switch from saying like, when does this need to be done by, to how soon can I get this done? And sometimes that answer might be 3 days from now, might be the soonest that I realistically have time to do, but then I can put it on the calendar for 3 days from now, instead of thinking, oh, it's not due till next Friday, so I'll put it on there for Thursday night or Friday morning. Because inevitably that doesn't leave room for any unforeseen things.
Right.
And then you start giving yourself justifications and excuses to say, well, it's due Friday, so they're really not expecting it till the end of day Friday, so I really don't need to do it till later in the day. And then later in the day comes and you think, well, at this point I might as well just have it in by Monday, because they're not going to open it at 4:30 on a Friday. No different if I just turn in, as long as it's there before 8 a.m. Monday morning. And then I'm like, well, so now I have all weekend, so I can do it Sunday at 10 o'clock, you know? And those are conversations I've had with myself where I'm just like, I need to rein that in. So I'm better than I used to be, but I still have some work.
We're all a work in progress, as they say. Next week, you know, it's going to be Cinco de Mayo while we're on the show.
And we had a little.
So we're going to have a little Cinco de Mayo party in progress. So my suggestion would be that if you're going out for a Cinco de Mayo evening or whatever, that stop in and pre-funk with us here at Scrutiny.
I think that's a great idea.
We'll have a little mini, whatever, a little mini party before you go out. And
I would like a case. It's a BYOB. Bring your own burrito.
You never know. Andy and I might get naked. Probably not, but you know, anything is possible.
I want the quesadilla and some chips and salsa. The thing is, all the Mexican restaurants, that's like, you know, probably their busiest day of the year. So
yeah, I never go to a Mexican restaurant on Cinco de Mayo.
No.
I don't like to stand up. Well, you know, it's usually standing room only.
Yeah,
Although that little mini quesadilla we had yesterday was pretty good.
that was good. That was a night that hit the spot.
Yeah, we stopped. We went over to Azteca in Federal Way, which is in a new place.
That was nice.
And it was really nice. They did a really good job of decorating it. And for those of you who are anti-bar stool,
Mhm.
in the bar, it's almost all short tables. So yay, Azteca.
Yeah, that was nice because you know, and I know at Otter it's this way where there's only one shorter table, and some bars don't have any, and that's so.
Yeah, so it was really nice because that makes the place more accessible, and also more likely that old people, you know, will go to it, which maybe most bars don't want old people. But here's the deal that I don't understand about that, because people my age are more likely to have money, you know.
Yeah,
So,
and it's interesting because I think about people who are their kids have grown and left the house, or their retirement, or even just before retirement, where they go out to eat a lot or go out to grab they can afford it and they don't have other stuff to do, and a lot of times it's easier, and it's like I don't have to make a big deal a big deal too, and cook and do dishes. So
if you don't have comfortable seating, they're not going to go to your place.
Yeah, so it makes sense to tailor to some of that crowd.
Oh well, but anyway, it was nice.
Yes, it was a good time. It was a pleasure to catch up with you.
It was. We didn't do anything we set out to do, which, by the way, I am kind of looking for a videographer to possibly follow me around some days.
Fun.
Because I want to get some video of how hard it is to get around in a scooter and the dumb things that people do to help you.
Now, do you need like professional level equipment, or follow you around with their phone, or like, what are you looking for?
More than a phone,
Okay.
but not like, you know, I mean, I'm not
like
making a
stuff.
Academy Award winning movie. I just need someone who knows their way around a camera, but you know, isn't that expensive.
Okay, so maybe someone who's starting up, or you know, knows enough to kind of get going. And yeah,
I mean, I'm willing to pay someone some, but haven't had a lot of luck with people that do any kind of photography. So
well, I seem to know a lot of people. It's a popular hobby, and there's a lot of people who are very good as a hobby, but aren't necessarily focused on it enough to where they are able to set stuff aside to do it seriously.
Right.
Even if they do it, it's like, well, I can't do it this much because it gets in the way of what pays the bills or whatever. That is true.
Yeah, so that's a fine line to straddle there with all that, but you know, somebody might be watching that'll go, oh, she's talking about me. I would be perfect for that. So
now I do have to give a shout out, not to have a little go back here, but I did trenchers for the first time on Tuesday, and that was a fun room, and Amani is just awesome. And I, you know, it's like, I don't know why, but you know, when you go into a new room, you don't really know what to expect, and you're just like, how's this gonna be? What's it gonna be like? And it's a bar show, so there's different elements there, because there's people talking in the background. And not out of control, but it takes getting used to. When I first started, I started at TCC, and so you're in a club where people get kicked out if they talk, and that's where I did comedy for the first 6 months before I ever did a bar show. And then I was like, what's happening? People are talking, you know. And so that was just different to me, and that was a lesson I had to learn. Of like, oh gosh, people aren't necessarily here for the comedy, but it makes you have to work harder to get their attention, to bring them to the show if they didn't come for it. And so I really enjoyed the room. The staff is great. Amani's cool, and they do that every Tuesday, and I'll be back someday to do it again. And it's just fun to do a different room.
Yeah, no, it is a fun room.
It's like,
I always like going there. They got a good flatbread too. I
didn't have the flat. Oh, I should have. I had a club sandwich, which was delicious.
Oh, was it? I haven't had that.
it's an easy go-to for me, like when I don't know what to get, and I wasn't eating healthy, but I like to make sure I support the businesses as much as I can when I'm performing.
Yeah, me too. At least that's I like to eat. Okay, so
Well, that's the thing is I like to like if I'm going to a thing, sometimes it's like, okay, well, I'll wait to order food till I get there so that I can throw some money their way, or I'll make sure I order a drink or two.
Right.
And then tip well, just because that's just how I do. And I get not everybody is in a position to do that all the time.
Right. And sometimes, I'm feeling a little more flush than others, and some places are a little more expensive than others, but you kind of learn like who you can support and how.
Yeah, exactly.
And oh, by the way, guess what? What we did today. Well, I was like on my computer or something. I was on my phone. I was looking at my mail, and I got something from Caesar's Palace.
Ooh.
And so I was like, oh, let me look and see what I got. It was what the offer was. And then as I'm reading, like, oh, this is a good offer. And then there was some news in the back of what's going on. And it said Chris Rock was going to be there for one night, July 3rd. And I'm like, oh my God, we're going to be in Vegas July 3rd. So we're going to go see Chris Rock.
That's fun.
On our last night there. I'm super excited about that. Yeah. I mean, we're going to be in the upper section, but
that's cool.
Still going to be there. Yeah. It was like $99 to sit in the back and like $209 to sit in the front, which really isn't that bad. But when you're buying 3 tickets.
Well, do you think that you could get a couple comps if you opened for him?
Well, I guess I could ask.
Well,
raise my hand. Can I come sit up front if I tell some
jokes? You should just send him a message or tag him on this post and say, "Dear Chris Rock, in case you haven't heard of me, I'm sure you have, but just in case, do a little research.
Yeah.
I'm Cheri Hardman.
I'm sure he's going to be dying.
You are so lucky that I'm going to be in in Vegas the same night of your show. And since I'm there, I actually declined gigs that night to come to your show, but I'd be willing, and I would waive my usual fee. I'd be willing to open.
The other thing that I saw today was that the rapper T.I. is going to be at Nate's Club in July.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've heard anything about him, but
I'm only familiar with him when he uses his middle initial M.
I know, yeah, that guy's everywhere. But he's been causing, he's decided, I don't know how this all came about, that he decided all of a sudden he was a comedian, but they're booking him in places. But then like, he's kind of been a dick, and they're kind of like, he's getting in fights with people and stuff's been happening.
Oh, there's a little kerfuffle, huh?
So it's like a newsworthy event here and there. So
you're gonna go?
Anyway, so I bought a ticket. Yeah, I was like, I gotta go see this.
Right.
Not that I think I don't know what I think it's gonna be, but I want to at least be able to say that I went. So I knew it was gonna sell out, so I'm like, I'll just get a ticket right now. Nice. I know my husband's not gonna want to go to this. I'll go by myself.
When is that?
Huh?
When is it?
It's like July, late July. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
26th or 27th, something like that. So
fun.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That was kind of cool. Just today, a couple things came up. Now I can't spend any money because I spent too much today. I'll go have my couple drinks tonight, and
you might be able to get those tickets refunded if you open for Chris Rock. Still thinking that.
All right. Well, maybe you could write an email on my behalf as well.
Okay. Dear Mr. Rock, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Andy Vargo, and I am one of the promoters on Cheri Hardman's team. Cheri Hardman, known as Cheri around the town, is one of the most funny comedians traveling up and down the West Coast with her show, unmentionables, as well as her style of comedy, which is risque, but funny as hell.
Whenever I see her, I laugh so much, I inhale my napkin and blow my mustache right off.
Many a mustache hairs have been swallowed due to the expense of my laughing at Cheri Hardman.
Oh, God.
I do hope that you can read my accent through my writing.
I was telling Dave what we did up here at the light last night.
Oh, that was funny. Yeah.
He just looked at me like I was insane.
Like we're the most immature people. Oh, that's funny.
Andy and I are standing at a traffic light right next to each other. And I look over at him and I was going like this. And then he was going like, he did something with his tongue or his mouth first.
Oh, yeah.
And then, then he went like this to his boobs. And then I went like that with mine. And then we both just busted up laughing.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. We're so
Well, it was like the other Sunday at the Poodle Dog when
when you're fucking whistling.
so apparently I got this tune stuck in my head and I kept whistling it, which apparently whistling is like the worst habit according to Cheri.
Well, it's the second worst after blowing your nose in a restaurant.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's awful. So I'll tell you a story about that later. But yeah, so Cheri told me that she's gonna like hit me across the face in the parking lot, and we start laughing so hard, and there's a lady like 20 feet away from us on the curb just watching us. Starts cracking up because we could barely get in our cars. We were laughing.
Well, we do have fun when we're together, that's for sure.
My dear Cheri, yes, we do.
I deem that unworthy.
That's right. The Cheri approval.
Oh boy. Well, we didn't really talk. We talked about some stuff today.
We did
Trying to see if there's anything we forgot or anything we need to. We have some dates coming up. We're going to be going to Idaho.
It's going to be fun. We'll let you know the
Yes.
date soon because that's coming up.
In June. That'll be fun.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
We're gonna road trip in, and we're going to get some more road trips on the calendar. We're going to take this show on the road, come to a theater near you where you can see us both doing jokes together.
I know. I was thinking that we need to like do maybe like we could do a 2-person show and we could do like a little Q&A. Like this is when we get famous and people know who we are. It's like our little Scrutiny with Cheri and Andy. We could do our little like a little podcast kind of thing, and then do our own sets or vice versa. Probably vice versa.
That could be fun.
Yeah. You could give life advice, and I could tell people what I think they're like in bed.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could roast my life advice.
All right, we could do that too. My eyelashes on this eye, this eye, they've been jumping out in like clumps.
Oh no.
I know, can you see that? Like last night I took my bra off and there was a chunk of them in my bra.
Okay.
And then earlier I looked in there, so they're what do you call that? They're abandoning ship. So I don't know what's going on.
Dear Mr. Rock, we're going to leave that part out of the letter.
She will come with full eyelashes.
She'll have all her eyelashes on. She'll be fully done up for your big affair.
I started to say, I hope nobody's watching this, but no, I hope people are watching this.
They are. They are awesome.
Well, I don't know what time I'm going to show up tonight. I like to show up fairly early just because I know that I want to be parked in the good parking spot. So,
right. Yes, that's fair. Well, I am going to be leaving my responsibility right about 6:30, maybe 6:15, 6:20 if I can sneak out the door, and then I will be over there, and it takes me like 10 minutes to get there. So So
I know other people. I know other people other than you, so I won't
Oh, yes.
worry. I won't worry. I'm just saying I won't worry if I get there first.
Okay.
You know, because I don't want to be codependent on you. I can be a person on my own, I think.
I think I can too. I think I can.
But I can't wait for you to get there. So
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun.
all right, it is going to be fun. All right, well, I will see you later.
We will see you later. And anybody that wants to join us, we'll see you there as well.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll see you around town at one of our events.
All right. Bye.
Ciao, Miss Cheri.